So, Luke and Matthew differ. Luke's and Matthew's genealogies from David to captivity branch off from one another. Are those discrepancies, or maybe there's a design? The two lines branch off after David. Matthew traces the royal line through Solomon to Joseph. That's the design. Joseph is the legal heir to the throne of David, and as the legal son according to levirate or ghost marriage customs, Jesus is the king of the Jews. Thus, when Jesus claimed that he is the king of Jews, you capitalize that, he was the rightful king in the line of David, doing things by the book, the Bible. How many other religious books are this detailed and conscientious about these details? Luke, on the other hand, traces the bloodline through another son of David, viz. Nathan. While Solomon was the heir to the throne, Nathan was the spiritual heir to David. Luke goes on to trace this line until captivity to Neri, thus in backwards order. Luke goes back in time. The other reference is Old Testament Matthew, the other way. So Luke 3:31, we have the names Melea, Menna, Mattatha, Nathan, and David. Same names in 2 Samuel. And we look in Matthew, David, Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa. David, Solomon. So we have the split there, but we see the definite reasons why they branch off, which we just explained. We have the differences here too. Simeon, Judah, Joseph, Joamin, Jonem, and Eliakim, Jehoshaphat, Joram, Uzziah. Now let's get to the explanation of these things. The differences here. You can check this out in the chart. It's very clearly laid out for you. Obvious distinction and deliberate differences that branch off. And we explain why. So Mattatha, Teresa. John Nolan states in his commentary on this, the names Mattatha, Teresa are names of otherwise unknown figures. It has been frequently suggested that these names are actually transliteration of the Aramaic word for prince, and that Johanan is the son of Zerubbabel, referred to in 1 Chronicles 3:19 as Hananiah. This is certainly possible, since no son of Zerubbabel named Risa is otherwise known, and Zerubbabel was the successor to Sheshbazzar, who is termed prince in Ezra 1:8. With Zerubbabel, we reach a definitely known figure who was a governor of Judah in the Persian Restoration and who had a part in the rebuilding of the temple. You look these things up. So we have an answer for each discrepancy potential. So, Luke's and Matthew's genealogies differ from period of captivity to Jesus Christ. As we come to captivity, Babylonian, the social conditions were in turmoil as far as the Jewish people were concerned. Judah was taken into captivity by the Babylonian Empire under Nebuchadnezzar. The temple was destroyed, and its bronze and silver and gold were taken away. Its royalty were made captive and taken as slaves. King Jeconiah was put in prison. Many were put to death, and only the poor remained in the land. 2 Kings 24:13, as the Lord had declared, Nebuchadnezzar removed all the treasures from the temple of the Lord and from the royal palace, and took away all the gold articles that Solomon, king of Israel, had made for the temple of the Lord. And next verse, he carried into exile all Jerusalem, all the officers and fighting men, and all the craftsmen and artisans, a total of 10,000. Only the poorest people of the land were left. The story of Judah restarts in Babylonian countryside, among the prison cells and among the slave dwellings. The Jews clung to their great traditions and struggled to maintain the heritage and family names. As a result, they had to resort to levirate customs, kinsman-redeemer customs, and to Zelophehad customs. Without these, it was impossible to continue the family unbroken. There were few men left, with vast number of women who were mostly widows or separated from husbands. It is with this in mind that we should approach the lineage problems, and we still see how beautiful it will fall in place. You don't think God's behind this? We have the different names of Zerubbabel, Shealtiel, and Neri. We have Shealtiel, Zerubbabel. We have in Matthew, Josiah, Jeconiah, Shealtiel, and Zerubbabel. So, take a look at the bottom column names here. So, Jeconiah, Neri, and Shealtiel. Matthew gives the name Shealtiel as the son of Jeconiah, while Luke gives the name as Neri. Both give the name Zerubbabel as the son of Shealtiel. So we cannot put them as two distinct Shealtiels and Zerubbabel. That would be pushing the matter too much. However, the problem is evidently solved with the assumption of levirate custom. Jeconiah was carried away as a prisoner, and his queen was also taken as captive. Jeremiah 22:24-30. It is predicted that Coniah, Jehoiachim, I wish I could pronounce his name, would be childless. Therefore, he could not have been the father of Shealtiel. But it is possible and probable that he adopted the 7 sons of Neri, or that Neri took the queen in levirate marriage, the 20th from David in the line of Nathan. This seems to be intimated in Zechariah 12:12, where we read of the family of Nathan apart, as well as the family of David apart. So if this were so, Shealtiel would be the posterity of Jeconiah by an adoption in the line of Nathan. Make that an H. So, it is unlikely that the queen was put in prison with the king. Women were never considered important enough to be put in prison. And that would have been considered improper Babylonian culture. It is therefore normal to expect her to follow the levirate custom, as the king was in the Babylonian prison and unable to procreate and keep his name in the tribe. There was no knowing whether he would ever come out of the prison alive. But he did after 37 years. I would place him at 55 years old when he was released. So it is quite reasonable to assume that Neri took the queen and begat children for Jeconiah. Neri was of the same tribe and family of David, and therefore the kinsman of Jeconiah. Okay. Shealtiel, Pedaiah, and Zerubbabel. The family according to this First Chronicles is as follows. We have these names. According to the Shealtiel, did not have a son called Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel was the son of Pedaiah, one of Shealtiel's brothers named Pedaiah. There you go. But the names of Abiud and Risa are not there. Here again the same situation exists. While both Matthew and Luke put Shealtiel as the father of Zerubbabel, the chronicler puts Pedaiah as the father of Zerubbabel. Pedaiah was one of the brothers of Shealtiel. The conclusion is very clear. Pedaiah died without children, probably very early, and Shealtiel, his brother, went into his wife to provide children for him. Thus, chronicler, being a legal man, follows the Pedaiah line, legal son, while Zerubbabel was actually the son of Shealtiel. Luke, following the bloodline, follows Zerubbabel to Shealtiel. Matthew, following the royal line, also accepts Shealtiel because Shealtiel, as the older brother, firstborn, was the legal heir of the throne of David. Prince Shealtiel was a towering figure in the period of captivity, and Shealtiel was the next in line, who became the governor of Judah and was universally accepted as the son of Shealtiel. Details. We're looking into them. For references to Shealtiel, also called Shalatiel, please read in these different references. For references to Zerubbabel, also called Sheshbazzar by the Babylonians with alias Zorobabel, please read these other references as well. So we're substantiating. Here we go. Here's the chart. Jehoiakim, Jeconiah, which other names for him. Then Shealtiel, other names for him. Right? Zerubbabel, and 5 sons. So, the missing names in Matthew 1, 13 to 15 are not much of a problem, because in those days people had several names, and these names must have been aliases of the children of Zerubbabel. Abiud and Risa must have been, for all practical reasons, the two sons from among the five. These names, however, do not appear as such anywhere else, and we have therefore no way of confirming nor discrediting the assumption. God works with man, despite his nonsense. Not God's, man's. So we have other names in Luke versus Matthew. Luke 3:24, Matthew 1:15, other names. We get to Jesus. Now, Jesus himself was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. He was the son, so it was thought, of Joseph, the son of Heli. Matthew 1:16, and Jacob, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who was called Christ. So we have Joseph, Heli, and Mary. Explanation: Zelophehad, custom. Again, when we reach the pinnacle of the tree, Luke claims that Joseph is the son of Heli, while Matthew puts Joseph as the son of Jacob. Here we have to call for another adoption custom which is widely practiced all over the world. In this custom, if a family had no male offspring to provide a lineage, one of the husbands of the girls may be adopted as to the heir of the family. They will then be legal heir to the family titles. Mary, being the only daughter of Heli, had adopted Joseph according to the law of Zelophehad. This mode of marriage is confirmed by God during the division of Palestine by Moses. Look at Numbers 27:1. The daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, and the son of Manasseh, belonged to the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. The names of the daughters were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They approached. Numbers 27:2. The entrance. They approached the entrance to the tent of meeting and stood before Moses, Eleazar, the priest, the leaders, and the whole assembly, and said, Our father died in the desert. He was not knowing Korah's followers, who banded together against the Lord, but he died for his own sin and left no sons. Then we get to Numbers 27:4. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan? Because he had no son. Give us property among our father's relatives. So Moses brought their case before the Lord. And then Numbers 27:6, the Lord said to him, What Zelophehad's daughters are saying is right. You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives, and turn their father's inheritance over to them. Say to the Israelites, if a man dies and leaves no son, turn his inheritance over to his daughter. Numbers 36:6. This is what the Lord commands for Zelophehad's daughters. They may marry anyone they please as long as they marry within the tribal clan of their father. Joseph, being the family of Judah and of David, was therefore adopted in accordance with the law. Hence, though Heli was the father of Mary, Joseph, the son of Jacob, became the son of Heli by adoption. Details. I often said, and I did say that this morning, you can have all kinds of skeptical points. It only takes a fraction of a sentence or two to make an accusation, and it takes many pages to answer that properly. Skeptics answered, if the virgin birth story is true, then why do the genealogies report Joseph as being the father of Jesus? Well, you know the answer, right? Skeptics asks. The New Testament gives us a detailed line of descent for Jesus, demonstrating that Jesus was born of the line of King David. This is done to meet the prophetic requirement of the Messiah being an heir to the throne of the house of David. It is unfortunate that the writer traces Jesus' descent from David through Joseph. Joseph isn't the father, if we are to believe the story of a virgin birth. Well, in the genealogy of Matthew 1, notice one name, Jeconias, or Jeconiah, in verse 11. If Joseph had been Jesus' father according to the flesh, he could never have occupied the throne, for God's word barred the way. There had been a curse on this royal line since the days of Jeconiah. In Jeremiah 22:30, we read, "Thus says the Lord, write